Well, we do have our final talk for this afternoon, or this morning rather, and as always, I like to do something a bit different, away from the clinical side. So this year, I thought we'd go a bit techie. So we've invited Sight and Sound Technology along. So we're going to be joined by Iain Kennedy and Stuart Lawler to give a presentation on well, all things techie really. So Iain is the Partnerships and Development Manager for Sight and Sound Technology. He's been in this field for 25 years in training and education, alongside and healthcare. He's passionate about using how assisted technology can be used to become inclusive and reduce barriers and all of those things, which I completely agree with. Stuart is the head of is the head of digital at Sight and Sound, alongside looking after their Irish side. On the Irish side, he's been using assisted technology for 35 years, and he feels it's a real equalizer, is the word that he uses, for independence. And I again, I can't argue with that either. Unfortunately, Stuart is unable to join us this afternoon live, but Iain will be live, but he'll be joined by his colleague Stephanie Davis to take some questions. So during this session, they're going to be talking about technology we already know about, some of that stuff that's in the pipelines and is coming through now, the newer stuff, which is quite exciting. So if you have a question for either Iain and Stephanie, just pop it in the chat, and they'll be joining us after their presentation, after their recording. So we'll head over to the presentation now, and then we'll have a chat with Iain and Stephanie after that. So thanks very much.
Hi everybody, we're delighted to be here today at the Macular conference. Thank you for the invitation. We're Sight and Sound Technology. My name is Stuart Lawler, and I am head of our digital content and also manage the Irish arm of Sight and Sound, as you may have noticed from the accent. My colleague Iain Kennedy is also here from Sight and Sound, and Iain is our partnerships manager and is based in Scotland. So, as I say, we're Sight and Sound Technology. We've been around for a little over 45 years, founded in 1979, and we are a supplier of specialist technology and services. We put a big emphasis on our services, like training and tech support, consultancy, assessment services, and we operate across the UK and in Ireland. Our specialism, I suppose, is in blind low vision, but we go right across the spectrum of disability, and we are a DSA provider. In fact, we're a significant provider in the DSA and have a joint venture called StudyTech, which provides significant amounts of technology and training every year to some 25,000 students who access further and higher education. And I suppose we're here today to talk to you about the technology that gets us excited every day, I suppose, and talk to you about some products that I suppose people here at this conference may find to be of particular use. Iain will be taking you through some stuff, and I'll be popping in and out as well. We're really looking forward to hearing from your questions. So if you are watching this live, please feel free to put any comments or questions in chat, and we'll be happy to join you live afterwards to help go through those questions. So I'll hand over to Iain.
Awesome. Thank you, Stuart. And thank you once again, just to reiterate, thank you for having us today. So I'm initially going to talk through some kind of magnification options that are out there at the minute and are proven popular and kind of trustworthy to use. I'm going to start off with the smallest, or one of the smallest, which is a Ruby handheld device. I'm holding that device up at the minute. It's sort of small, the size of your hand, kind of in your palm. It can fold out, so you've got a kind of handle that you hold, like you would a kind of traditional magnifier. But obviously this is a video magnifier, so it's using cameras. It's got a built-in LED light. With all these kind of Ruby magnifiers, and I'll go through a few of them, you've got options for different colors on the screen. So you can have black on white, white on black, yellow on blue, and yellow on black. So there's a few different kind of color options depending on your preference. This one that I've got in my hands at the minute, as I say, the small Ruby handheld. When you turn it on, it starts off at 5 times magnification. You touch the plus button, the yellow plus button at the top. It goes up to 7 times magnification. You can increase it again up to 10 times magnification, and then by pressing the plus again, it cycles back to its original 5 times magnification. There's options, as there are with most of the kind of Ruby products, where you can freeze frame, so you can take a picture of something that you're looking at and then zoom into that. This runs off of 4 rechargeable batteries, and it's small, compact. It can fit into a bag, a rucksack, a handbag, into a pocket. So these are kind of proven to be really, really useful, kind of on the fly, out and about, looking at menus or seeing text that's close up, or things in the theatre, like programs and things like that. So the Ruby 7 is the kind of smallest of the kind of Ruby range. Moving on to something like the Ruby 7. So the Ruby 7 is, or the Ruby 7 HD, I should say. It's a 7-inch screen, and it has similar features. The standout feature for the Ruby 7 is it has a rotating kind of pivot cam, and it allows you to not only see what's on the desk, but also it kind of pivots or rotates the camera around. You can look at yourself, kind of look at, if you're doing makeup or putting your glasses on or doing your hair or things like that. People have used it for further away kind of distance, to look out the window at the birds and things like that. So it's a fairly kind of versatile. Again, same kind of colors as before. You can cycle through the different colors. But yeah, it's a small, again, relatively compact. There is a stand that comes out, kind of like, that flips out of the bottom, and as you flip open the stand, 2 LED lights come on to magnify what you put the magnifier on top of. This goes up to 24 times magnification, so this is a bit more powerful than the Ruby handheld, but proves really, really popular. Again, it's quite slimline. There is kind of plenty of options for colors. You can freeze frame, take pictures, etc. So there's lots and lots of different options with the Ruby 7. Moving up the kind of Ruby range, there's the Ruby 10, and that's more like a kind of iPad device. So that is kind of holding it up just now. It's a fair. It's a 10-inch screen, so it's a fair size. Again, it's got the magnification, the color, the additional features of this. It's got the kind of OCR capabilities, so you are able to take a picture of text and have the device read that back to you. You can pinch and zoom, so it's a touch screen as well, so you're able to kind of pinch and zoom using your fingers to support. You can of course use the plus and minus buttons that are already there, kind of bright yellow plus and minus buttons. You can have letterbox displays, so if you're wanting to focus on one line at a time or 2 lines at a time, you can have that set up, and you can kind of do it on the fly as well. It's, again, all the products are fairly lightweight. This is one of the kind of bigger mobile ones, if you like. You can, of course, hold it in front of you and use it as a magnifier with the plus and the minus buttons to zoom into things as well. There's another product that I think is really kind of really useful. It's not a handheld product. This is a ZoomX Snow Pad. I'm just pulling this up from the floor. This product is a desktop product. It should sit on a desktop, and it allows a split screen magnification. So it allows people to see things far away. So in a classroom or a workplace situation where there is somebody presenting or information on a board or a screen, this device allows you to see in the distance and magnify significantly and very clearly, while also allowing magnification of close-up documents. So you can magnify what's been written or handouts, and then you can see both at the same time on the split screen. So it uses, I'm holding up just now, it's a desktop device. It's not to be kind of carried about. It's to be set up on a desktop. It has a optical zoom camera on the top. It runs off an app which is customizable, and then the device that the screen that shows the magnification is essentially any Apple or Android tablet of any size. So it connects to the device with a small cable, and you're able to kind of toggle between the options of distance, close, or distance and close on a split screen. Again, you can use kind of pinch to zoom. This also has OCR capabilities, so you're able to take a picture of a document, have it stored, have it saved, change the color of that, and also have that text read out to you. So the ZoomX Snowpad is a great device within kind of workplaces. It does fold away quite neatly. I mean, it is a it folds away into a small kind of backpack, but it is designed to be set up on a desktop within kind of education or workplace type situations. So the ZoomX Snowpad is a kind of great addition if you're looking for distance and close-up magnification. A couple of other products which are really, really popular from a kind of text to speech point of view is the small Orcam Read. So on kind of Orcam Read 3, it's just slightly bigger than your finger. You point it at a document, and it will take a picture of that document and read what's on that document back to you. It's fairly discreet. It's quite small. You can wear it in a lanyard around your neck. You can have it Bluetooth to Bluetooth headphones, so it's not reading out loud. I will take a picture really quickly of a page out of Gulliver's Travels.
Gulliver's Travels, and very well dressed, but smaller than the wings of a lark. Find them by 2 or 3 at a mouthful, and 3 loaves at a time. That's the goodness of basket.
So a kind of random page out of Gulliver's Travels book, but these kind of Orcam reads are proven, again, really, really popular. They are very discreet. You can have them attached to headphones so that it's not reading out loud. You can obviously change it from male to female voices. You can change the speed of the voice as well. And yeah, I mean, I suppose that's some of the devices. We've got things like the different kind of wearables that we've got, the kind of Envision glasses. And no, that's the Orcam suspending. So the Envision glasses are kind of wearable tech. The Envision glasses are, so I'm holding them up now. This is one with a titanium frame, kind of lightweight, and they're kind of controlled with the leg on the right hand side, with kind of swiping gestures and double taps, forward, back, up and down, to access the menu, and double tap to select. Again, we're kind of talking about these are available through kind of access to work and things like that. So and now with Envision glasses, there's another app called Ally, and the Ally app is a bit of a game changer, because you put in all your preferences to the Ally app. So if you're a vegetarian, you'd say you're a vegetarian. If you only drink a certain product, and then if you're out and about, it will be able to look at the menu using your glasses, and it'll only pick out products that you have told them that you like. So it'll only pick up vegetarian products. The more you use the Ally product on the Envision glasses, the better it becomes. But also with these glasses, the Envision glasses, you can have instant text. You can scan the text, you can export it, you can recognize different notes, like banknotes and cash recognition. You can find objects. There's also kind of voice command features and things like that. So these are a great addition to help support people in kind of everyday situations. Stuart, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, thanks, Iain. One thing I forgot to say at the start was that all the great products that Iain has been showing there, so some people may know of, in fact, I'm sure some people who are here today do know about Sight and Sound, but for those who don't, one thing I forgot to say is that we don't manufacture anything. We are a distributor, a worldwide distributor. So we have partners throughout the world, and we what we hope is that we pick the very best products and put them in our portfolio for our customers. So we're not a manufacturer at all. So Iain has talked a lot about hardware. Iain has also just referenced AI there at the very end, and I will come back to talk about AI in a few minutes because, unfortunately, you can't go anywhere nowadays without hearing those two letters become part of our lives, haven't we? And maybe sometimes we wonder, how do we manage before AI? Maybe we managed a lot better. Who knows? But I will come back to talk about AI in a few minutes. But I just wanted to mention some of the software side. And I suppose from an access to work perspective, I know we were asked about access to work before we started. And also, I suppose, from an education perspective, but also from people who just want to have tools in the home to do maybe personal computing, what's available. And there are three products worth speaking about. The first is ZoomText. ZoomText is magnification software. So it will increase the size of the magnification. You can change the foreground and background color. It has split screen. And then there are two variants of ZoomText. There's ZoomText Magnification and ZoomText Mag Reader. ZoomText Mag Reader is, I suppose, a minimal screen reader, I would call it, that is built into ZoomText that will give you some speech feedback. It also allows you maybe to read lengthy documents. So if your eyes are getting tired, you don't have to look at the screen all the time. So it's a speech aid, I suppose I would call it. The second product is JAWS. I think a lot of people will have heard about JAWS. When you mention assistive technology in the blind low vision space, people tend to talk about JAWS. So it's a screen reader that's been around, would you believe, for 30 years as of this year. And supports a whole range of applications, as well as what you would, the sort of traditional Microsoft Office suite, all the major web browsers used quite a lot in the workplace, for students, but also for end users at home. And it's a very powerful screen reader, allowing access, as I said, to lots of applications, but also highly customizable. And I suppose it's a product that we've been known for pretty much as long as Sight and Sound has been here, I think, or well, nearly as long as Sight and Sound. And the last one I wanted to mention is something called Fusion. Now, Fusion is, as its name might suggest, it's the coming together of JAWS and ZoomText. So this is ideal. I suppose JAWS is ideal for somebody who is totally blind or has extremely low vision. ZoomText is probably going to work for somebody who has some useful vision and who's primarily looking at the screen. Fusion is good for somebody who has low vision, who may need more of a reliance on screen reading than what the ZoomText Mag Reader might be able to offer. So ZoomText is, as I said, the coming together of Fusion is the coming together of JAWS and ZoomText, offering screen magnification, all the screen magnification found in ZoomText, and all the functionality of the screen reader found in JAWS. And you can turn on and off those functions at will. So, for example, you could switch off the screen magnification piece if you didn't need it for certain tasks, and then turn it back on and do the same with JAWS. So an extremely powerful product, and one that is very much sought after. Iain touched on AI a few minutes ago on Envision, and was just kind of mentioning that, and the fact that you can, tell it things about yourself and it will answer questions then appropriately. There's AI built into JAWS as well, and also built into Fusion. And one of the just really kind of, interesting real world examples before we go. People being able to look at photographs, being able to get a description of photographs that might be on their computer, shopping online, seeing photographs of products online and you want to know more about them. You can ask AI to give you a description, and you can even then drill more into that and ask questions about the description, get more information. So maybe you're shopping for, I don't know, a washing machine, and you're looking at the various washing machines and you say something like, does this washing machine have tactile buttons? And AI comes back and says, no, it has a flat screen. Then maybe that's not for you. Those things are really useful. We always urge some degree of caution with AI as well, because of course it's not perfect, and because it shouldn't be seen as a silver bullet to sort of to allow web developers off the hook. We still encourage good design, importance for accessibility in the digital space. So if AI is used properly, I think it can complement that. Now, I'm watching our time, and we're really looking forward to taking your questions in just a moment. Iain, I don't know if there's anything else you want to say before we sign off.
Just exactly that. If there's any questions the folk have got, we're looking forward to answering them, and put them in the chat, or we'll do our best to answer your questions. And
just very lastly, for anyone, I'm sure we can put this in the chat as well. We're at sightandsound.co.uk. You can find us on the web or on phone on 01604 798 070, or you can send an email to info@sightandsound.co.uk. So thank you very much for coming along this morning and for listening to us, and we look forward to your questions.
Thank you.
Perfect. Brilliant. Hello. So, Iain and Stephanie, I hope you're on the screen. I can't see you, so
we are. I would say good morning, but we're nearly at lunchtime, Colin.
It's nearly lunchtime anyway. Thanks for joining us. That was a really good presentation. Thanks, Iain. We've had a few questions in the chat while people were listening to yourself, Iain and Stuart. The first one is from somebody who's a musician. And she play, or they, I don't know who they are. They play a cornet in a brass band, which is quite cool in itself. But their vision fluctuates. Can you think of any sort of assistive technology that might help them? They have to occasionally share a music stand as well. So any thoughts?
First of all, excellent choice of instrument. As a B-flat trumpeter myself, it's not too far away from what I used to play. As far as kind of fluctuating vision and tech, I'd go probably non-tech first, and making sure the environment is appropriate and appropriate lighting and things like that, before going into things like tech. I don't know whether magnification and things like that are required. It may be that some of the products, some of the kind of magnifiers and things like that may be of use. There's nothing that's jumping out that I know of in my time, but
yeah, I mean, adding into that, I think Iain sort of hit the nail on the head there. It all depends on the environment, because if it's somewhere you can set up better task lighting, you might even contrast out the music sheets. It's all the principles we all sort of preach around big, bright and bold. Then again, you might use some of the devices Iain showcased, which could be something like the Snow Pad or the Snow 12, or even mounting a Ruby on a special stand. It all depends. I mean, it's a difficult one to call, because you're not going to be using a handheld like an Orcam. You may use, there's different wearables that actually enhance someone's vision. So I know Iain didn't showcase them, but on the market there are other wearables that someone wears as a headset that can magnify. Often they use a phone within the headset. So there's things like that. It all really depends. Obviously, it's quite a loose answer, because it's very specific to that individual, and that's where when we work with someone and we're contacted, we listen to the whole situation and then try to prescribe or give examples. So there's no right answer, I'm afraid.
So it might be worth a call. Just a thought for the
Yes.
person who asked that question. So, and
Yeah.
as you said, you did mention that, Stephanie. Actually, some of this stuff's a bit chunky. So, someone's sort of are you aware of a digital magnifier that is tiny, sort of credit card size, that could fit in a wallet
No,
or a purse?
many years ago, Optelec used to have a very small device. But what they found is for people with sight loss, and we talk about this a lot, you need a bigger screen. So, I mean, you've got the basic Ruby magnifiers, which are, a small screen, less than 5 inches across. But in most cases, no matter what the sort of sight loss, going to the biggest screen you can handle, manage, hold or place and also afford tends to be the better option. So we've got HD versions, which obviously gives that definition and clarity. But we're finding more and more people are going for something like a 8-inch screen, a 10-inch or a 12-inch, just because it gives them that opportunity to read more or hear more and look at it rather than literally getting a couple of words as it's magnified on the screen.
So it's at least quite nicely actually onto another question. It's sort of someone's asked that they get asked quite a lot about day-to-day life and what sort of equipment, assisted technology to use sort of day to day out and about. So we're assuming they have macular disease. So what kind of like I mean, you've just mentioned a couple, but is there anything else that you can think of that might be beneficial for something like shopping?
Do you want me to lead on this, Iain?
I'll jump in with a couple of
Go
things
on.
that I've thought of. Some of it's kind of existing out there. You don't need to buy a device. So things like like the NaviLens codes and things like that are on different packaging, which will tell you all about the product. That's just using kind of the app that you would download on your smartphone. There are obviously features within your existing smartphone if you have one, but things like that we talked about there, the OrCam, we'd be able to read text. The kind of basic magnifier, the small Ruby, the Ruby HD, the kind of handheld magnifier would be useful as well. But yeah, there are things like apps that you'd be able to download onto your phone as well, to get kind of more detailed information.
And then adding into that, wearable technology now. So people are aware of the Ray-Ban glasses, the Meta glasses. You've got the Envision glasses. They've also just launched another addition into their portfolio. So wearable tech as much as sort of traditional tech you might hold in your hands, because they all offer that sort of functionality of being able to read, describe. So obviously the more advanced tech will do the AI, will do the summary. I remember sending a pair of Envision glasses to a gentleman who purely wanted to be able to pick a greeting card up and have it described to him. He didn't want assistance. He wanted to be totally independent and get to the shop and pick a card of his choice. So there's lots of choices out there. It's all dependent on what you're looking for and your budget. That's a key factor in this.
Absolutely, I'm waiting for the Oakleys to come out. I'm not going to lie. Actually, at least Iain, you mentioned cost. So a couple of things about the OrCam. How much does it cost, and does it speak foreign language, other languages?
Yes, it does. I'll do cost first. 1890. So 1,890 excluding VAT. 2,268 inclusive of VAT if you're paying VAT. So 1,890 is the cost for that.
That's the OrCam Read, though, isn't it? What about the OrCam?
The OrCam Read 3, yeah, the kind of small finger-like device. It comes with a stand as well that you'll be able to kind of purchase. As far as languages, it would be English, French, and German as standard. And then I think you need to, if you want any other languages, you'd have to put in a specific order, and they'd be able to do a kind of more bespoke order. But the 3 languages, English, French, and German as standard.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Okay, great. So I think I mean, there's lots out there. Well, you've got a little bit of time left. So for both of you, this question to both of you really, What do you think is the most effective piece of assistive technology, or the quirkiest, or the one you like the most, and why?
Should I start?
Okay. Yeah.
I know you're going to say the same thing as me, probably. Go.
Well, I'm going to come at it from a different angle. I mean,
Go then.
I'm relatively new into kind of assistive tech. I worked in sight loss all my life. Relatively new into the kind of assistive tech side of things. What I found is there's loads of great products. There's loads of really quirky products and unique, and it really is individual, because some folk really get on really well with one product, whereas another person, perhaps with similar sight loss, will really dislike that product. So it is really unique. I think it's
Go
the
on,
millions
pick
dollar
one,
question.
Ian. Pick one. Which one?
Pick one. I don't know if I can. I honestly don't. I think like the products we kind of talked about there are great. There's, I think it's got to be something that is small, discreet. Yeah, I think
To be
for me,
fair,
I'm just stumbling about here. Kind of going, I'm not quite
yeah,
sure.
no, it's a good question. I mean, it's really hard to answer, and the reason I've asked this question really is to show that it is very bespoke. So you've answered the question very well.
Well, I have
think
two there. I could eat two,
Stephanie,
quite
yeah, go on.
easily.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
woman. We know what we like. This for thinking of two different hats. So someone with low vision who probably has a progressive sight loss, I would go for the Ruby 10, purely because you've got a great screen there to enable you to carry on reading and comfortably, but then when you need that extra support, it can read the text for you. So I encourage people obviously to use the sight they've got left, but also it's future proofing. It's got that inbuilt speech, so you can use it if you don't want to obviously read along. But then on the other hand, if you maybe have very poor sight, but you also want something very small and versatile, it is always the Orcam Read 3. It's super fast. It's the fastest device for clicking and reading the text. And I've sold one of these to someone nearly 100 years old. You know, it's so simple. And that's one of the benefits of it. And there's not anything that's really come on the market that's got close to the simplicity, but also the functionality of the Orcam Read 3. And wearables try to, but a lot of wearables are a little bit too complicated for the older generation, and a lot need a smartphone as well. So where the Orcam 3 isn't connected to anything, it's totally independent.
Well, brilliant. I think a very good answer. So thank you very much. But we only had 10 minutes, and we've amazingly got through it immediately. So I'd like to thank you, guys, for joining us and taking part in our conference this year. It's been very good. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having us, Colin, and the rest of the team.
Brilliant. Thank you.